we will not forget the name of this municipality because Nan is kind of bred in India. So I also remember very well the name of your management. Thank you very much. You also mentioned the importance of data collection, data also gathering, and also data creation. That's also, I understand, quite important. And you mentioned, of course, the financial and maybe a request for central government to limit for regulations with regards to financing. I think the important aspect is that we need a very conducive environment. We need kind of good or enabling environment for local governments to perform effectively, not only just to respond when disasters occur, but also to reduce this. I know some cities in Asia also manage to reduce floods using very simple way. I give you example of the city of Malang in Indonesia. They managed to remove floods just by doing a plantation. So every household has to do some plantations, and also they have every household also have to join the program of the city. This is called setting up the Bifor. Bifor, I think in English, Bifor. Biopori in Bahasa Biopor. So I have a slides for Malang. I can share with you, but I'm not going to present here. But important also not just response when disasters happen, but also how can we remove those floods, with limitation of funds. Everything is, of course, with the creativity, with the engagement of the people, with the strong support from different stakeholders. That's possible. I have the slides, and I can share with you later on how the Malang city removed the floods in the city. Thank you. Any more intervention? We have a good intervention from Bihar state government as well as Nan municipality. Any more representatives? And we are talking we're talking again about the statements. And I think some of you already mentioned, and those points have also been included in statements. Any more intervention about the statement, voluntary statement? Any more local governments representatives? Any more? And the Philippine mayor is not here yet, I think. And Mongolia, you want to say something? So yeah, do you have a roadmap? How many local governments we know that have a roadmap on the PRR strategies? Can anybody share? You want to say? You're from irrigation. Okay, maybe please, you can have one share here. Okay, let's give a chance. Maybe the government of Indonesia, you want to share something? Okay. Okay, yeah. She will be speaking later, she said. So maybe the time is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, I'm not the local government, but I'm in the national government for the Disaster Management Authority in Jakarta. And my name is Raditya. It's been the sun. So the moon will shine if the sun is here. So actually, we are also in the advisory working group for local action from the UNSGR, and I'm the chair of the local action actually. And what I would like to know is how is the integration with the roadmap that is designed from the working group itself, this local authority, local action itself. Since we are talking roadmap, we have made the roadmap. We are also designing the roadmap each 2 years until 2030. In which are the priority of we need for the local action itself, and discussing among us in the working group itself that we know investment is the most important thing about the budgeting is also one of the things that we should endorse. And one other thing that is important is the local leader itself. And this evening, if you would like to join us, there will be a local leader forum, and maybe some of you also in charge also talking. And this is our ministry from the National Disaster Management Authority will also endorse what we have been doing in Indonesia. What I can share, maybe I'm sorry that maybe from Governor of Central Java is cannot make it, and the Cilacap Regency will talk in this afternoon. But what we can share is how can we do local action in with the local authority. We have now what's called the national movement for disaster risk reduction. So if you mention about Malang, there's also around more than 21 district that is taking the river restoration movement. And this is consisting of the community along the river side. And one of what we have been doing from the national government, we try to endorse with the local capacity by producing resources of financing also, and how to create the community itself and volunteer. For example, we have been doing training for each of the river basin. We facilitate facilitator, and each facilitator or each area of the district should make 1,000 volunteers for the river. So this is a mass movement from the grassroots level. And from the national level, we try to endorse with the 71 indicator. This is the reducing the index risk of the growth center until 2019 with 136 of district of economic growth center. So this is what we are doing now in the national level. But in the grassroots level, we are really working with the voluntary and what we call the Gotong Royong is communal working group togetherness. And this is with the spirit of Indonesia, how to create the people along the river to be river as an asset of their community itself. So this is one of the issues of what now in Indonesia what's happening and how we need to implement in practical way. So we see Sendai River is conceptually, but how we turn to conceptually into practice. So this is the idea, how to create a really grassroots movement and massive movement. So this is it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I thought it's very useful how the government of Indonesia, central government, supports also local actions, local activities. And I know like Jakarta, the flood also has been minimized and not much floods compared to the past years with, this resettlement of the people and also creating of the several thousands volunteers. So I congratulate you once again. I think this is good that we are happy not only local authorities are with us, but also central government that gave full support to local authorities, because as I mentioned that we need a good enabling environment, and that one of the things can be provided by central government. So we are happy and thank you so much for sharing with us. I think we can go back now to the Philippines. Mayor, yeah, please.
Actually, perhaps you don't know where Iriga City is. Iriga City is in the southern zone of the Philippines. And I cannot speak in behalf of the Philippines, but I can speak about Iriga City. I'm the local chief executive right now. And Iriga City is a very small city. It's 70% agriculture. And we are usually visited by 8 to 10 typhoons in a year. That's 50 kilometers per hour, and the strongest is 260 kilometers per hour. And we have, leadership is being forged when it comes to crisis. So during the time that we experienced 2 typhoons in a row, 2 subsequent typhoons, that was Millennium 160 kilometers per hour and Remain 260 kilometers per hour, were in 1,000 Bicolanos, we call them Bicolanos, our constituents, was killed in a mudslide because of the landslide that transpired in Mayon volcano. So those experiences has forced us to become more stronger and resilient. So we have no other choice but to, as what the gentleman from Indonesia had said, that we have to touch the grassroots and we have to organize and we have to prepare. We have the mitigation, preparedness, and rehabilitation. Those are the things that we really have to we have to do. And to be honest, during the time that we experienced that typhoon, really don't know where to start. But the false notion was we have to ask help from the national government, which is, for me, it's a wrong notion because everyone has to have an ownership. Everyone has to be responsible and everyone has a responsibility that they have to, they are obliged to help their city because no one will help your own city but you and of course the constituents. So with that, it's really the grassroots, and now hopefully we can replicate 911 next year. We'll have a huge command center by next year, and hopefully we can avoid the death toll, and then we can also avoid the massive damages held or transpired by which transpired during the Reming typhoon. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have you seen also the statement, the draft statement that we sent to you earlier?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think? Do you have any comments? And also, you want to add some more points here?
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes. Any more intervention? No more? We have some more local governments here with us, I guess. Wait a second. From Japan, representative from Japan is not here. Maybe later they will join us. So, any more comments on the statements? You agree that we have a 2 years action here, doable and concrete action. There's 2 years in the statement, and then we meet again in the next 2 years. Yes, maybe I will give you a chance to speak, then we move back to you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to Honorable Minister as well, and thank you to the Honorable Mayor from Philippines. So I am actually from Asian Disaster Preparedness Center based in Thailand. I saw this draft statement only now, so I had a very quick look, and one of the things, like especially when you have mentioned about some kind of doable recommendations for the next 2 years. So one of the critical challenges that most of the time we face in these countries, or the reason is the institutional linkages. So somewhere in one of the recommendations, it should be highlighted how these institutional linkages can be built upon and how it can be breached, because at a time of disaster, it's these institutional linkages which are very important. Now, how do you share risk information? Any kind of climate-related information that can help the response agencies to respond accordingly. So I think somewhere in the recommendation, this needs to be highlighted. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think all agree with your recommendation, I believe. So we will include that. And if you have also some kind of lessons learned, how you build those relationships, maybe through the platform, this is also a place where we can share. I think this is very critical. You know that also we have a clear common of conducts, especially at the local government level. I know that normally the community responds very fast, and sometimes the local government or governments come late. So this kind of things also happen. And we also understand the importance of culture. Like you mentioned, Gotong Royong is the spirit of working together. Gotong Royong is the words in Bahasa that means working together, despite all differences. Religious, whatever, is not our concern. Different religions is fine. And what is important that during the disasters, during those kind of, sadness moments usually, and also when we celebrate together, this Gotong Royong always there. So this is also important that we understand the local culture, and region is different, and we have a different kind of culture that we have to also respect, and those indigenous knowledge as well. And also good thing that with the global priorities also connect with the local context, because you will not prioritize everything, but also it depends on your local context, depend also on your risk result, and also you highlight the importance of how can those risk information be also known by everyone in the place, in the region. Thank you. I think this is a good point. You want to raise some more points and any more intervention? Yes, then after you, we will move to you, and then we can have a short break before we move to the second objective of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have, again, as I also got a chance to read it today, just a couple of suggestions. One was about there is this third point in the recognizing challenges thing. It talks about providing adequate financial resources and so on. Maybe, so my suggestion is that if the national or the subnational government is able to clearly assign a role for the local authorities, local government. Sometimes, this, of course, I'm coming more from the Indian and the South Asian experience that I have, where the role and the responsibilities in the immediate aftermath of a disaster and for the long-term risk reduction work, they are sometimes gray. They get kind of blurry, where at times the national government takes over in the response if it's in a large event. So the suggestion is that if it is possible to identify clear roles for the local government or local authorities, by local I mean at the city level, at the village level, at that level, if those roles are identified and they are kind of made, in the sense, mandated through some kind of a policy revision. In the Indian context, we have the urban, the ULB and the Urban Local Body Act and the Panchayati Raj Act. So that is the instrument through which it can be made mandatory, and then related capacity building for that. That is one suggestion. So that roles and recognition that these are the authorities who are supposed to do this, and then support for that in the form of capacities, which is covered in the subsequent point. The second suggestion is, like you were saying about the local cooperation that exists. It exists all over Asia. So if it can be made a bit institutionalized, drawing on what you were saying, is that the idea of platforms has been going on, and UNISDR has been promoting it for so many years now. So at the local level, at the city level, at the village level, if local platforms or some kind of working groups are evolved to help the local authorities, and local authority kind of takes the lead in collaborating and evolving that. So that will help in the collective envisioning, ideation and action. Because local people, local civil society groups, local other groups, bodies, they have the better understanding of local situation, local context and risks. So if these groups and these representatives are able to come together with the authorities in prioritizing what are the actions, prioritizing geographically within the local area, which is the more risk-prone area, what kind of actions, what kind of capacities need to build, so on and so forth. So the mechanism could be a platform, it could be a working group, it could be, it depends on how the local culture is. So maybe that as a suggestion, some kind of a local platform on risk reduction. Thank you.
I think there's a good suggestions, and you propose two things. And I think in some cities also they already set up a kind of platforms. I know that like Makati City in the Philippines, also they have a DRRM platform, and also in your city. But how can we institutionalize this and make it also, crucial? Because you also mentioned important to have to understand or make assignment on role and responsibilities, not just making role and responsibilities, but also make them clear also. Sometimes with those kind of things only, appear on the paper, but when come to, this essence and content sometimes disappeared. So I think you also mentioned the importance of connecting this with a supporting mechanism, capacity building. Yeah, I think this is quite clear. We also welcome non-local governments. We also have Government of Indonesia spokes, and any partners will come. And I think you want to say something. Yes, please.
My name is Albert Salamanca from the Stockholm Environment Institute. Building on the previous comments, I just would like to, maybe it would help us to really look at what it says here in the statement, because it says immediate and doable actions by local authorities, and then maybe if we can start looking at each one whether they are immediate and doable. Because, like, for example, based on the previous point, it says improve coordination, for example, on action 3, and then strengthen, and then 5th is eco. I'm not sure whether those are really doable. If we can be more specific, I think, on what those actions are, because it says here also which we can monitor and report during the next AMCDRR. So if there are immediate and doable, then maybe the next time we meet, there's something for us to report. So it's just a point on maybe on improving the language that we have here, so that it would be useful for us. And then my next point is that we talk about monitoring and evaluation. I'm wondering whether we could also add learning, because what's the point of monitoring and evaluation if actually we're not going to learn? Yeah, thank you.
You could also
Please comment which one are doable. I think making roadmap is doable because you know, in less than a year after Sendai framework, you come up with a roadmap. You know, I think the first one is quite doable. Also, sign up is also quite doable because you can just sign up. But it's not just sign up and you don't do anything. But after sign up, also come up with a commitment. You know, because quite important. So. Please look at again doable actions.